There we go. There they are, Oscar and Michele. I'm excited to chat with them. Um, it's I've known them. Oh man, 3 or so years, 3 maybe 4 years now. Back in I think 2021 ish when they started working with ShineOn, and uh, I live in Europe now, and there are a couple of Europeans, and when they're not hanging out in other parts of the world, we've seen each other around Europe and Dubai. I don't think did I get to see them in Barcelona. Maybe I saw them in Barcelona. I'm not sure if I remember. I think they're in Barcelona now, but we'll work on. Maybe I just need to take a trip to Barcelona so I can go see them again. But excited for this. But I think we'll have everybody joining here in a second. Again, I think Brooke is working on that now and directing everybody over there. So fun. I don't know why Facebook just tries to make things difficult, but we'll figure it out. All right, I see the numbers. They're getting there. Sweet. Well, I'll go ahead and start and get into the get some of the stuff out of the way, and then we'll jump into the content that everyone wants to hear, which is what Michele and Oscar are here to talk to us about. So first off, if you're watching this on YouTube, I guess, like the post, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment in here. All those things help to make sure that YouTube will show this to more people and helps us to grow and allows more people to see the amazing value that ShineOn is out there offering. So, if you're here, if you're watching, like it, subscribe, smash that subscribe button. I'm doing my best YouTube impression. Let's jump into the swag winners from last week. This week, we actually have an interesting swag winner. Normally, we give out swag to people that create a post or post something in the group. And this week, we're actually giving it out to someone that has just been extremely engaged in the group. They didn't actually make a post of their own. We're giving some swag out to Carol Edwards. She is extremely engaged in the group. She comments on a lot of other people's posts and provides a lot of value, even if she's not making a post of her own. Providing that value is something we appreciate here at ShineOn. So excited that we have people like her in the group. I think Brooke will find a way to reach out to you and get you some swag sitting over. We've actually got a pretty cool new shirt that's getting ready to launch. And maybe that might be something we can get you in on, Carol. So maybe mention that to Brooke when she messaged you that maybe you want that cool new shirt that John's talking about. And I think Brooke will know which one I'm talking about. We'll get you that before it's released to the general public. So let's see. Do you want to get some swag every week? Every week we give out swag. I think you get a good amount. Get a shirt, get a hat, maybe a hoodie. If you want to get free swag, the way you can do it is just by being engaged in the group like Carol. You could be leaving a testimonial post with screenshots. Maybe you're getting sales. Maybe it's other things like that. Posting a value post, something that's working for you, something that you've figured out, that you've learned, or just a tip, a trick, or a hack. I've recently been playing with a lot of AI and creating avatars, which is really fun, and getting them to say funny things, which I think is also fun. Now I just need to figure out a way to make that work with my ads. And it's pretty cool to create some AI UGC content. So once I get that to a point where I think it's good, it might be something that I drop some knowledge on, because I do think that's interesting. I also recently started using an app where I can take all my ideas that I write out and I can just drop them in this app, and it creates this beautiful presentation out of it. Really like that one. Makes me seem like I'm working really hard, and those are always the best ones. Takes a lot less time to create something beautiful. All right, latest news within ShineOn. Do you want to earn $20 in Shine Cash? I still think I should be on the $20 Shine Cash bill. I think Michael's more of a $1 Shine Cash bill. I'm 20. But we're trying to learn some more and collect data about what's helping you with getting your first sale or your multiple sales, what you're doing. We're trying to learn what's working because there's a lot more of you than there are of us, and we want to hear about how things are going. Brooke is going to drop a link in the chat here in just a second, and you'll be able to use that link. You can go and fill out the form and actually submit the form. We're going to be reviewing all of it, and as long as you gave us real answers and didn't just answer like 0 into everything, you will get $20 of Shine Cash added to your account. I do believe we asked for your email. Make sure that's your ShineOn email. Otherwise, we won't know what account to give that money to. And there is the link here. You can't click it on the screen, so find it in the chat so you can click on it and get your $20 of Shine Cash. I'm sure Mike and Oscar are over there clicking this link to fill it out so they can get $20 of Shine Cash added to their account so they can use that to pay for an order or two. All right. Let's see. We've got some new summer renders. This is just a small sampling of new renders that we've created for some of our products. We've got some great 4th of July themed products. 4th of July is happening in next Wednesday, I believe. We got some really cool renders. It's also Pride season throughout the summer. We've got lots of great Pride renders out there for all sorts of different products. I like the fireworks one as well. We've got picnic stuff. We're adding tons of new ones. We're working on lots of kids stuff. There's a link to the summer renders. Oh, Brooke, you're on top of things. Again, you can't click the screen, so find it in the chat. But you can see all of the cool new renders that we've got out there for all of our products. We're working on a lot of other stuff as well. I know that one of the big ones that's always asked for is getting jewelry, pictures of kids with the jewelry on. We've had a lot of requests for that. We've got a lot of people selling grandparent to grandkid or parent to kid, dad to daughter, that type of stuff. And the majority of the images of people, lifestyle images, are of older women wearing the jewelry. So I know we're working really hard on getting a lot of some kids of all different ages added. And also with like the dog tags, we're getting kids basically across the board. So I know that's been a heavily requested item, and those will all be coming soon in addition to the new summer ones. And I think we've got back to schools coming soon. So look out for that. That's a big niche coming up here in a little over a month. So we'll get lots of stuff for back to school, for the shirts, for the journals, for all of that stuff. I think that those things can do really well. Oh, right. Now I know this has really started because I have my first comment from Deborah telling everybody about the shiny Delaware beaches that she's sitting on. So glad you could join us, Deborah. You're always a signal to me that Coffee with ShineOn has commenced when I see your first comment. Give us a review, by the way, for ShineOn. We're an app. We live and die by reviews. So if you're new and you haven't left us a review in the Shopify App Store, please do. If you have left us an app in the ShineOn or in the Shopify platform and you didn't give us 5 stars, go back and change it to 5 stars because you know you love us and you know we're worth 5 stars. And if you have left us a 5-star review in the app, please go to find us on like Trustpilot or one of those other apps and give us a 5-star review. All those things just help us out to grow as a company, and it makes us all very, very happy. So, yes. All right, let's see here. And then feel like you miss out on things, feel like things happen and you're not aware they're happening. You feel like there's stuff going on and you're the last one to know. Well, make sure you stay up to date by checking the featured section within our Facebook group. That is the area where we pin all of our announcements, anything that's going on, any big announcements, that's where you're going to find it. So if you haven't, make sure you're always paying attention to that section when you go to our Facebook group. That is where you will find the most important information in there. So, all right. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Do you guys see how my hat disappears and my hair gets really fluffy as I jump in? It's beautiful. It's amazing. I think first up we will do the digital marketers toast. So let's see. I have water or mojito. I'm going to go with mojito. For me, I'm in Europe. It is Friday. It is after 5 p.m. So mojito it is. For you in the U.S., you can drink your coffee or you can drink a mojito. I'm not in charge of you. Do what you want to do. But let's go ahead and do our digital marketers toast to officially launch the live. I was going to call it Facebook Live, but we're not live on Facebook. So YouTube Live it is. Raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, or flasks, and join me now for the Digital Marketers Toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheaper CPMs, and lower CACs, to higher CTRs and much higher CVRs, to enabled ad accounts and big bank accounts, to upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sells, to the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in the niches, but also in your email flows. All right. Perfect. Normally, every time we do that, someone gets a little ka-ching on their phone because Shopify knows and they send somebody a sale. So, all right, let me get my screen back to this. That was a digital marketers toast. All right. I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to bring to the stage both Mike and Oscar to join us. Welcome, Mike and Oscar. Thanks for coming on Coffee with ShineOn. Say hello to the YouTube world today.
Hey everyone, good to be here. Long time no see, John.
Yeah. Hey John, all good here. Very, very happy to be on this call. Only 3 years ago, me and Oscar, we were watching all the videos on YouTube for ShineOn, and now we are on the other side. So really stoked to give some value here.
Did you guys ever watch one of my beginner series that I would do? When I did them like every Friday, I would do a welcome to ShineOn call.
We actually watched them all. Like literally, like this summer, 3 years ago, I was watching all of the YouTube videos for ShineOn to try to understand how to write these phrases. And I must say that I was successful. So content is good, I would say.
Oh, I'm going to take credit for your success then. It was all me, all me. All my hard work paid off for you. I'm so happy to hear it. No, it's great to have you guys on. I know that, like I said, I obviously met you guys working with ShineOn and you guys being a top seller. And then obviously when I moved to Europe, I think we got more connected because you guys are in Europe. And so I kind of became ipso facto like your account management style, and worked really closely with you guys. And the success that you guys have had has been really good. And I know that you've been able to take that success and move into other areas within e-commerce. And obviously I've watched you guys from when you were, I think you guys were living in Italy at the time. And And now, like I'd like to pretend we're friends, but we're Instagram friends. Let's call it that. And now I can't keep up with where you guys are. I think you spent quite a while in Bali. At least like a couple of months ago, you were there. I think where are we now? We're in Barcelona right now.
We're in Barcelona, correct? Yeah, we've been enjoying the freedom as nomads. Let's say we don't have a family like you, John, so we're taking the best out of it. And so we've been like Bali for a few months, traveling around, also South Africa, now in Barcelona. Been to the US too a couple of times, Costa Rica. Yeah, some nice places around there.
Yeah, we're actually based in Dubai, but Dubai.
Yeah, we're based in Dubai. Dubai is our base, but we've been moving around the last couple of years. Yeah.
No, it's too hot to be in Dubai this time of year. So go to Barcelona where you can have a little bit more of a sea breeze and, I would say more outdoor fun in Barcelona this time of year.
Oh yeah, Dubai is horrible. You don't want to be there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in Dubai right now. It's like you'd melt outside. It's really, really bad.
So I think the best place for us to start is, I think, giving everybody a bit of introduction of what I mean. I would start at the beginning. Like obviously, you found me and I taught you how to be successful. But what led you to the point of finding me? And I'll stop taking all the credit. But then, where has that led you? What kind of has that pathway been? Because, a lot of people here are in the beginning stages, right? They come here every Friday and they watch these Coffee with ShineOns. They're taking a course, right? They're working with a coach. They're struggling, maybe. Maybe they're finding some success. Maybe they're waiting for their first sale. And, it always helps for them to hear people who are successful, that you guys were also in that same position at one point.
Yeah, 100%. So just to put things into perspective, to go back, so when everything started, in part, you are right, John. A lot of our success, we need to give credit to ShineOn, and we are extremely grateful for everything that you guys have provided to us. It was, as Mike mentioned, it was exactly 3 years ago. It was summer 2021. Me and Mike are both from Italy, from Rome. You probably know, the capital of the country. We were stuck at home, just trying to figure it out. Before that, we had tested for like 4 or 5 months a bunch of different drop shipping products. Nothing was really working or sticking. Lost some money, a little bit of traction on some products, but we're never able to scale. We stumbled upon ShineOn, and it was summer 2021, and then we decided to just go all in on ShineOn. Again, it was literally June, like this time of the year, 2021. We were both at home, spending all day going through your courses, YouTube videos, joining all the calls, engaging on all the possible Facebook posts, and everything, just literally maximizing all our efforts into ShineOn. Tested like a lot of different phrases, and found one that sticked pretty well with the audience. When did we find that, Mike? It was like September, I think early September. So just in time for Q4. I think it took us, like maybe a month to go through like all the course, then started testing, losing money for like another month. And then, around September, we got some traction with one phrase, one product.
And how many products do you think you went through before you got to that first one that showed some sign of success?
So if I can take that, actually our approach was really like to follow what you say in the videos. So I think in one of the videos you mentioned to prepare for Q4, just make let's say a repository of like 100 phrases. So we wrote 100 phrases, we make these 100 designs. And we just started in September, and we started testing, I think it was like 2 phrases every 2 days. So basically a phrase a day. And then it was like, I think that like most of the phrases were not making sales, like 0. Some of them were making like 1 or 2 sales, but then after a few days they were dying off. And then I think it was somewhere around the 30th or 40th phrase that we tested that showed some positive results for like 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days. So straight from the beginning, I don't know why that phrases click with the audience. And I think we can also reveal it here on the call, because I mean, everyone stole it now. Like you can still see it.
It's out in the world by now.
Yeah,
You've sold enough of it that they've all seen it at some point.
So it's funny enough because we didn't even know it was a term in the United States, but it's to my bonus daughter. And I think the phrase said something: I didn't give you the gift of life, life gave me the gift of you, always shine like the brightest star. And I think the necklace was not it was the alluring beauty one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it doesn't really matter, the necklace in the end. So yeah, that was the process. And then I think, yeah, Oscar, you can continue with the story because it's quite fun.
Yeah, so it was interesting because it almost felt like everything fell into place like magically. I know it sounds very like cliche, almost like the typical hero journey. I was broke and I became a millionaire, which in a way it is. Like we were literally, it was like our last chance. Like we were like, all right, let's go all in with ShineOn. Or nothing before that worked. Like this has to work. And funnily enough, it happened right in time for Q4, right? So it was September. We saw some traction on this product, and then it was just amazing because we could apply all the skills that we had learned before that. Because before ShineOn, we also watched so much content when it comes to media buying. So we felt pretty knowledgeable, but again, we didn't like media buying is very interesting, right? Because you can learn as much as you want, but if you don't have anything that's working for you, how do you apply that, right? You don't have money to spend. You learn all these scaling strategies, but you don't have a product that works, right? So as soon as we found that, it was time to shine, and we started applying everything we learned so far, testing different scaling strategies. And yeah, things went well for that product. During Q4, we reached $1.2 million in sale just with that product in the US market. So very interesting times. Of course, this was the first time for us scaling to those numbers. So a lot happened along the way. But I think we did a really good job in managing the workload and the volume. And that's also
So during that process, right, you go from September, a couple sales, to you end December with $1.2 million of sales, which is a lot of sales, right? There's, I mean, what, 10,000 plus sales, maybe?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. I wonder, like, you had media buying skills, right? You said you've watched a lot of content around media buying. You found a winning product. What issues did you run into? Like, how did you find customer service? Was that an easy thing for you to figure out, or like what like pitfalls did you run into during that first scaling period?
So for customer support, we started doing our own, and then we just follow the common advice on YouTube. That is, just go on onlinejobs.ph and hire a virtual assistant. And we still have this virtual assistant to this day. So basically, she was actually able to manage all of the customer emails that were coming through, and it was a lot of work at a certain point. So I'm.
But you guys knew right away. Outsource, right? Like it's going to be way cheaper to outsource 100%. And pay someone than to spend your time doing it.
Yes,
that's difficult for a lot of people to understand. A lot of people think they want to take everything on, and your time is better spent on the ads.
That's what we've noticed. Luckily enough, we already had that like business mindset. Even though we didn't have success in business, we kind of knew almost like a little bit how things were supposed to be done. And yeah, as you mentioned, John, I noticed this with many beginners. They tend to get very attached to their own product and like, it's mine. I want to do things myself. I can do it better. But, I mean, you know this too, John. Any business, in order to scale, you need to outsource and delegate. That's one of the first things, because otherwise you're not going to move and reach higher volumes. So yeah, that was a big learning too. And just to answer also the other point, another pitfall, I mean, scaling to those numbers was not easy, right? When it's the first time, it's never easy, right? So it was scary. We had to overcome some limiting beliefs. Spending $30,000 a day on Facebook was, it's not It's not something we were used to.
Those credit card charges coming through they get a little daunting because you're like, I have this money's coming in, right? Like, I'm not just racking up credit card bills.
Yeah, right. It's like it's all about limiting beliefs, right? For someone who has seen those numbers, it's nothing. They're used to it. And now probably the same for us would be 10x that amount would give us that same feeling of like you're scared because you've never seen that number. It's new to you, right? So that was hard to manage. So yeah, cash flow was also a little bit tricky. The different credit cards. We went through some days where we weren't sleeping at night, also with the different time zones and like trying to handle all the credit cards that were getting blocked here, blocked there. But you have to go through that, and it was, I can say to this day, probably the most exciting times we had in terms of,
It's a rush, right? When you have that, like it, I've had that to my point where my wife, like my phone, remains on silent for forever, because at one point, my first time scaling, my wife went into my phone and was just like, if I hear that ka-ching one more time, I'm going to throw your phone out of the house. Like, we're trying to sleep and it's just ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And we're in Europe, right? And she's just like, I can't sleep at night. Your phone's just buzzing. It's lighting up every 5 minutes. Like, it drove her insane to the point where my phone doesn't do anything. You can call me and it won't even turn on, right? So like, but it's a rush. You get excited about it, but then you get like that first email that says, your billing method failed, and you're like, what? And you start like scrambling around, like, what cards do I have? Like, where did this go? What happened? You're trying to like call American Express. You need to up my limit, and like it's like fun problems, but it's like there's stress and anxiety, and then there's stress and excitement. And I think it's a stress with excitement. It's so exciting, it's stressful. And everyone, no one would turn down the chance to have that type of stress in their life of, I'm getting so many sales that I'm having to spend all my time figuring out how to, manage it all. So,
yeah.
All right. So you finish up. One question about To My Bonus Daughter, because you're not American. And even as an American, I didn't know this term until I first saw it on your message card. And I was like, oh, interesting. It's really like stepdaughter is really what it's referring to. Do you like how did you come up with this phrase? Like, where did you find it? Was you just like randomly searching? You're like, oh, To My Bonus Daughter. Why not give that a shot? Did you see it on a shirt? Like what brought that phrase? Because there's a phrase like that. It was also, you remember Kirsta, right? He had unbiological sister. It's some of those random phrases. It wasn't just To My Wife. It was finding that little tiny differentiator that I saw a lot of products scale big in 2021 specifically. But how did you come across that phrase?
I mean, it's not really that we were looking for it, to be honest, but when you're writing 100 different phrases, then you look at all the variables, and when you're like combining these winning phrases, I think Michael made some videos on how to find winning phrases. So we were looking on Amazon, on Etsy, on previous winner, on like AdSpy, and then you start putting things together, and then it just copy and paste from different phrases and putting things together. So if you look at the different part of the phrase, all these little phrases were all winning by themselves, let's say. So I didn't give you the gift of life. That was already like running on ShineOn, on other products, on Amazon, wherever.
On another, like, let's say on the wife, it was running.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
So we took that and just brought it to.
And then also the end of it was the same. So we were just playing around with different things.
Well, and Michael uses the term Frankenphrase, right?
Exactly.
You're taking a bunch of pieces and you're putting them together to make your own little monster. So that worked because a lot of people they get so focused they create like 2-3 phrases and they're so built on perfecting those two. And you guys are like, we built 100, and then we just started testing them.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, so you get through Q4 2021. I know that $1.2 million is not the amount of sales that you've done since then. I know you've gone on to much bigger numbers. What have you been doing since then?
Yeah, so of course, we end 2021 super excited. Our confidence was to the roof, and we were like, all right, what do we do now? Easy, we 10x, right? We want to 10x. Just try to follow Grant Cardone's advice. I literally remember Mike goes, yeah, Grant Cardone says whenever you find something, think of like, oh, how do you 10x? Okay, so how do we 10x this? We start thinking, how do we 10x? We thought, yeah, we just need to find more winning phrases, right? Or scale this harder, like on Facebook. Next thing we realized is that in January, everything died, basically. So we were not making any revenue anymore. But our hopes were still high because we had, Valentine's Day. So we were like, all right, we've got to try to find like some angles for Valentine's Day. Let's see if that works. Didn't really find anything there. So, I mean, just to make this story short, we were not able to scale that specific store to 10 million. But what we did is we thought, okay, if this works in the US, there might be other markets, right? Why don't we tap in? We're Europeans. So we brought our expertise and ShineOn products to the European market. And that was bingo. And that's how we scaled to, we reached overall across the different stores, Europe, US, we reached 10 million in sales, which was our goal. I don't think we reached that in 2022, though. I think it took us until 2023 to reach that. But in any ways, our strategy has been get what was working in the US and replicate that to different European markets. Because in Europe, back then, probably still now, there's some untapped markets. Actually, there are some untapped markets right now in Europe, 100%, where the competition is way lower and it's just easier to find winning products. So yeah, that's what we did. And I don't know if we want to go through some countries. I think the first one something that helped us in the US too was bring it to Canada. We did that. We tapped into the Canadian market too, which helped us. And in Europe, big success in Germany. That was probably one of the biggest markets.
Yeah.
Then also the Nordics, like Sweden, Norway, Finland, all these countries. But I think the main difference between Europe and the US is that in the US, I will still go with the same strategy. So build 100 new phrases and test them out one by one, of course, not all at once. While for Europe, if you speak the language, then you're going to be 10 times, you're going to have a competitive advantage, first of all, because you can follow the same strategies as in the US. So basically going on Etsy, going on physical store and looking for these phrases and just bring them to Facebook. But if you don't speak the language, the best thing to do is just take winners in the US, especially if you find recent winner on AdSpy and these tools in the US, and then you bring them to Europe. This strategy has been done by many people, us as well, of course, and that's how you scale the product in Europe. And something that we have noticed is that if you got to choose a European countries, because let's say you don't speak any of the languages, if you speak any of them, I would recommend sticking to one of these. Otherwise, I would probably still test Germany, which is basically the same scalability as the US. It's of course a little bit more competitive than the others, but still, if you find a winner there during Q4, you can easily do the same numbers that we're talking about in the US.
No, the German market or DACH, right? So it's Germany, Austria, and in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Right. They all have a pretty big German-speaking population there. It's not as big as the U.S. The U.S. is 330 million, and with DACH, you're getting about 100 million. But still, if you find a winning product, there's plenty of room to scale it. It's not if you hit the ceiling on 100 million people, good for you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, John, as you mentioned, definitely smaller markets to the US, but the chances of finding more winning products is higher. So you tap into more niches. Our obstacle in the US was, okay, bonus daughter, there's only as much as we could. We thought we could scale that to 10 million, but as big as the US is, there's not enough demand for that type of product.
Sure.
It's not going to happen. So then we had to overcome another limiting belief, which was, what about we would have never thought that type of product would work, for example, in Italy. And we did 2 million in sales in Italy in 1 year with tapping into different niches. So we did, and in Italy we did, because like we're Italian, we did every single niche, like wife, daughter, like everyone, and we were the first ones to bring it there.
Well, and again, you guys had a competitive advantage because you spoke the language, so you knew the different phrases. You could take that original phrase and you could just change the "to my bonus daughter" to the different Italian versions and different other ones, the common phrases that they have there, and just literally barely even change the phrase, just translate it and take out one product and put it into 10 different niches.
Exactly. So for the listeners, if there's anyone who for some reason speaks another language, do consider tapping into that local market or giving it a chance. Or even if you have like a cousin or brother or whatever who speaks that language, it could be interesting to explore.
There is also something else that we find that worked very well that might be worth testing out at the moment. It's the French niche in Canada. So you might think that Canada only speaks English, but then there are a lot of French people, and we were able to scale also there in French.
Well, I know I think you guys met Valentine, and he was big in the French market. And he was the first one that turned me onto that because he sold specifically into that French market in Canada. I didn't realize how big. I thought it was just like, I just thought it was Montreal. I didn't realize how many people there are in the French Canadian side. So it's a good market as well. So let's just jump over. You guys had success, but specifically, I want to kind of get into, okay, you've got a product. You've been running it for 10 days. You've been profitable for 10 days. Maybe you went from spending $50 to spending $100 to spending $200, and it's still profitable, right? But you're not scaling it. You're spending $200. You're bringing in $500, right? You're like, oh, this is good. What are you guys, when you're saying like, how do you scale ShineOn? Kind of what goes through your head when you've done that low scale? When you go, okay, well, now what do I need to do to take it to high scale? And it's not just what you do with the product, but what do you do with the business? How are you looking at things? Like what kind of goes into taking it from promising to scaling?
All right. So first thing first, you got to make sure that you have all the basics in place. So for us, it's normal, for example, but like the product page, if you are like making 100 different phrases, maybe like the product page is not optimized yet, like the images, you can have a look at the images that you have in the product page, the description, and these things. So just make it simple. But just make sure that everything is in place, all the information, the shipping, the phrase, like people can see the jewelry, like a person wearing the necklace, these kind of things. Then it's also very important the speed of your website. So if you have been installing like different apps on your website, make sure that the website loads very, very, very fast. And then don't forget the backend. So as soon as we find something like this, we're already thinking, okay, if we find a product for the daughter, let's think about the upsell for the daughter. And it might be like, for example, a son product after that. So we start optimizing that part that is actually pretty quick to set up. And then another part that is very, very important, if you don't have it in place, because I think if you're like at this beginning stage, it's completely fine. If you're having like a few sales, you should not have this software in place yet. But before scaling, you should implement a tracking software, because nowadays Facebook and TikTok, these platforms are losing so much data. And actually here we have a software that not many people are talking about, because I think most people on YouTube talk about Triple Whale, Northbeam, and other stuff that cost like $300, $400 per month. But we actually found a platform that is able to bring back the data to Facebook, so that Facebook actually tracks almost one-on-one the purchases. That is going to be very, very helpful in the scaling phase. And it's called Billy.ai. So BILY.ai. And that's just...
And it's cheaper? It's cheaper than Triple Whale?
It's actually, I think it's even free under like 100K a month or something. And
I might need to try that to get away from Triple Whale, because that's a bill I have to pay every month. I could deal with not paying.
I wish
And
we
then
were somehow affiliated to this, or it was ours, because
Yeah.
you sold it in such a good way, like the whole phrase you made. But it's actually true. It's actually true. Like it's, yeah, everything he claimed is correct. Billy was a game changer.
And so you're instituting, in order to scale, right? What you're saying is you need to have proper data, right? You can't be,
Exactly.
if you're just looking at what's in your Facebook Business Manager, you're not looking at, and I know this, right? If I go look at Klaviyo in my emails and it goes, oh, well, you sent this person an email, therefore they bought from email. Well, no, they didn't buy from the email. You just sent them an email and they just went and bought on your store. Like everyone wants to take credit for every sale that happens. And Facebook somehow doesn't want to take credit for every sale that happens. They just miss stuff. They're the only platform I know that doesn't claim sales. Sometimes they claim too many. Sometimes they claim zero. And so you're saying using proper tracking software so that you guys have real data to make decisions on.
Not only us, but also the platform, which is even more important. Because especially when you're getting a few sales a day, the more data you give back to Facebook and the better data Facebook has, the easier it's going to be to optimize for Facebook. Because in the end, it's all about the machine learning. So it's not really us. Like, yeah, we can give Facebook the right creative, but then if they're losing, like, I don't know, 30% of the sales, it might get harder and it might take longer to optimize for Facebook. So if you have like the proper tracking that is passing the data back to Facebook, because this platform is not like Triple Whale that keeps the data.
Okay, so it's actually feeding the sales data back to make sure Facebook is accurate, because if Facebook thinks your ad's not getting sales, it's probably going to give you worse traffic. But if it realizes that it's actually getting more sales, it's probably going to help the Facebook algorithm to send you the right traffic.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and for the listeners, because you mentioned this point, this is a really good point. Data is key, right? You need to be able to, you need to know how to read those numbers, because otherwise, like, there's no starting point, right? You need to be able to identify that winner. Now, it's not rocket science, we can tell you, because you will see the difference when a product sticks, right? You will notice there's like, it was working from day one, right? You will see that difference. It's not rocket science. What becomes a little bit harder is when you start increasing budgets, right? And you have to be able to analyze patterns. This is working better, that hook is working good. But we'll tap into the creative side a little bit later. But just be mindful about how important those numbers are. And if you are a person who struggles with understanding data, we've seen this with a lot of other people. Luckily, me and Mike are both very data driven, and we come from an analytical background. So that was not hard for us to grasp. If you struggle with that, don't be afraid. Ask for help. ShineOn is great for that. It helped us. Mike mentioned that for upsells a lot back in the days, because we were scaling hard. We wanted to increase average order value, but we had no idea. Like, all right, this person is buying for a bonus daughter. What might she like? We don't have time to test different products, and that's where ShineOn was extremely helpful for us. And thanks to them, we made a lot more money, because they were like, we've seen this in the past work. If it's women 40 plus, they usually like that. Put that in the upsell, right? So ask those questions, because there's people with more experience in the group. So yeah, take advantage of that.
Awesome. And so so you've got good tracking in place. Your product is good. What is the next thing that you really choose to focus on to take that product from being able to spend $300, $500 to being able to spend $30,000? Like, what do you have to do to get that product to that point?
Yeah, you probably heard this, creatives. So creative is going to be the moving needle, as much as you like it or hate it. Without creatives, you're not going to go anywhere, because they will die, and you need a system that allows you to test at scale hundreds, thousands of creatives. Now, we mentioned this before, right? When it comes to like business in general, right? It's a numbers game. You're not going to find a winner by testing 2 phrases. You wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I feel inspired. Let me write these 2 phrases, and those are going to be winners. That's not how it works. Like everything, you have to test hundreds, and it's the same with creatives, right? So the issue is, how do I get to that scale, right? I need to have a process that allows me to do that, and that's what our thought process was. Similar to what we did with the script writing and the phrases. How do we build 100 phrases? We did that like by having a system and like different niches and all that. We put it all together, and then we started testing. We did the same for creatives. How do we have a pipeline? How do we create a pipeline that allows us to test 10 new videos every 3 days? How do we do that? I was doing the video editing. At some point, I couldn't do that because I was also managing the business, running Facebook, TikTok at that scale, like spending 30, right? So how do we do that? So that's when we hired a video editor who helped us with that. Together with, I think our main, the way we crack the code when it comes to creatives is getting a lot of UGC content from our current customers. So we had a flow in place that would ask every single person that bought from us to send us a video reaction. In exchange of, I don't remember what it was, the $20. Yeah, I think it was $20 or something like that. And we actually received a lot of content from these customers, right? So then we had a database of all different faces, different customers, happy, sad, crying, showing that emotion, right? Because we're selling an emotion. You're not selling that necklace. You're selling an emotion, right? So you wanna sell that emotion in the videos too. And that's when we cracked the code. We started testing hundreds of creatives with different people crying and reacting to this gift unwrapping. Built a system around that follows marketing framework, right? Because these videos need to sell. You can't run a video of someone who's opening a box and laughing and it's not going to sell. People are not going to click, right? So it has to be smart in such a way where it follows a specific marketing framework. And you probably heard this. The videos are usually the most famous and well-known framework is the IDA. So attention, interest, desire, action. So first you hook the audience with the attention. You spark that interest. So in our case, you do a product introduction. So you show the message card because that's gonna push the emotions even more after they saw the person crying. And then you stimulate that desire. So you say, imagine seeing your wife opening this, and then you show another footage of that, or imagine if this would be you, blah, blah, blah. So they need to feel like they have the product with them almost, like, and feel those emotions, right? And then super important, this has to be there in every single video you do, is the call to action. Without any call to action, people are not going to click. And especially in the US, give that discount, make them give that urgency. Super, super, super important. Like, people buy if there's urgency and if there's a discount. So all our ads actually had discounts. Sometimes they weren't even, they were also made up. Like, it was just, they had to be there for people to click. And also urgency, saying it was, we had limited quantities and all that. So that was kind of our system. Boiled down to a few minutes of explanation. It was a little bit more complex than that, but I hope this kind of gave some insights.
No, I love the idea of farming your content from your buyers, right? Like, a lot of people, you probably have to start filming your own content to start, but building a system that's constantly bringing you in new content to put in those ads is allowing you to refresh your ads on a consistent basis without a ton of work on your side. And you can just send those clips to your editor, and your editor is just sending you back, here's a new ad. And you probably got to a point where you have more ads, more creatives than you need, because you've created a good system to gather that for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then our editor basically just had to put together all the different pieces, right? He had all the content for the hooks, which was people's reactions. He had the content of box opening. He had the content of like landing pages and all that. And then he was just putting things together following that framework. A very, very simple editor, like, again, from the Philippines, from onlinejobs.ph, paying him more. To this date, actually, he's one of our video editors, paying him $3 an hour. Not crazy in terms of his expertise, but very, very robotic and diligent when it came to deliveries. So then what was great is that we could replicate this process also in the European markets, right? Because the content is the same. So no matter where you get it from, whether it's US, Germany, or whatever, you can then use it in other countries, right? And it all comes down to changing that, like the script or like the text layovers that you have on the ad. And for that, we were just translating, and then the video editor was just putting them together. That was
I know in the European market, something that we did was say we were starting in the Netherlands and we were doing everything in Dutch. It was very easy. We weren't actually using text, or we weren't actually using like real voices, and it was really easy with AI to take the text and just translate it into different languages, and then also use AI to take any of the voiceovers and translate it into different languages. So we were able to take one country and systemize it to almost 16 different countries without having to make go through an editing process, because you're able to just throw it into AI and say, do it in German this time. Okay, now do it in French. Okay, now Spanish. And is it perfect? Not every time, but it was a lot less work than doing it all manually.
I mean, we didn't have AI at the time because there was no AI like 1 year ago, 2 years ago to do the voiceover. So what we did, we just went on Fiverr to get the voiceovers from like professional speakers. And also like before this, we implemented this system. That's actually what take us like to the 10 million in sales. But before that, of course, we didn't have any customers. So it's just a matter of like shooting in-house. So you got to ask your mom, you got to ask your sister, you got to ask whoever it's in the room. And try to shoot this content. Something that you can think about it if you're shooting with the same person, because you only have one available, let's say like one that is in target, it's try to change the background. So one time like you film it with the background of the kitchen, another time is going to be like outside, another time in the car, so that you have like this different frame that resonate with different people. And it's also for Facebook like a new video, so it's going to treat it, let's say, better than having the same frame at the beginning. So that's also very important. And something else about this, like how we gather all this content, is actually we found that European clients were a little bit more open to provide this video, because we were also asking for marketing consent so that we could use this video in the ads, because otherwise it's illegal to use the video. And in the US, they're a little bit more concerned with privacy, but I think just I don't know, like you can still find ways of making that work. So it's either like sending, I don't know, personalized emails, that could be a way, or like giving bigger incentive. So just test things out, and you should be able to find something that works to receive these videos from clients.
That makes me it gives me an idea to start adding into my reviews. To get reviews, I give discounts, but just saying like, hey, leave me a 5-star review and I'll send you $10. You know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, 100%.
Like just straight cash, like.
Oh yeah, they love that.
Amazon voucher,
Yeah,
that's how
like whatever it's got to be. Like that's and even like, especially, hey, send me a picture of you wearing it and I'll give you $10, because that's just ad content, that's social proof that's going to allow me to scale and build that trust with future customers. So I like that idea.
Yeah, John, the best is actually Amazon vouchers. It's easier. You don't have to ask for like bank credentials and send wires, and they like Amazon voucher because it's like, again, free money that they can buy whatever they want.
Yeah. Perfect. I like that. Maybe I'll buy you Starbucks, right? Here's a Starbucks thing, whatever it's got to be. I like that. So, okay. So you guys have this way that you've built this system that works, and something that I've seen you guys do is actually help other people that have a product that's working and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to take it to the next level. They don't know. They don't have the time. They don't have the skills, or they just don't want to deal with having to learn it all. And there's a learning curve with all this, learning with it. That you've actually partnered with other ShineOn sellers in the past, and I know of at least 2 that you've brought to top seller status within ShineOn. I'd like to hear a little bit about how that's worked, because you have a lot of people on this call that are like, wow, wouldn't that be a nice little, I wish I had all of their skills.
Yeah, so we actually never wanted to do this in first place. But what happened is that we had our success. We shared our value on ShineOn with some posts. And of course, some people started reaching out, right? I need help with this, I need help with that. And we noticed that there was some missed out opportunity because some people had good products. They were just not able either to identify that that was a winning product because they had struggles with like understanding data, or just seeing all those numbers on the screen on Facebook was giving them a headache, which again, it's completely normal. It can happen. Like, we're all different human beings and have our own strengths, right? We've partnered with an amazing woman inside ShineOn. She was super creative, very good at like writing the script, but she was having a really hard time understanding the data, right? So, but she had also some very good products. So what we did is we implemented all our systems, all our expertise, and helped her scale, basically. Another case was where good product, but didn't have media buying expertise at all. So you have a good product, you can identify it's a winner, but you don't know how to scale. You don't know what a CBO is, or you hear CBO, ABO, scaling cost caps, and you're like, what is this? I'm confused. Or like, you don't want to waste money and try different things. So that's another case. But yeah, in general, so we did that, and it was actually very, very rewarding on both ends, because the way we were like, all right, we don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to make money out of this as a coach, as you know, as it is. But if both parties can win, if we can help someone make money and we also make money out of it, why not? So the way we basically did this was like, all right, we'll try to implement our systems. And by implementing our systems means we'll give you access to our video editor, and we will manage that. We will apply our proven to work frameworks when it comes to creative pipeline. We will apply our proven to work systems when it comes to scaling ads. So our CBO techniques, our cost caps, and all that on your accounts. Try to scale your product, hands off for you. You just give us some help when it comes to customer support, maybe, or new ideas if you have like upsells and different niches. But apart from that, we'll do all the scaling for you, and we just share the wins when it comes to the profits we take after all the expenses. And of course, we're factoring in also the expenses of like the video editor, because it was extra content and all that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it really worked well. We've created some great synergies, and yeah, it was just, it became almost a no-brainer, right? Because we had all these processes, and yeah, it was just easy for them and for us, I guess, to make the best.
Well, I think you also, you know, it's in addition to something that, like, a lot of coaches provide advice, and what you're actually doing is really, really hands-on. But at the same time, you also have all that advice. Okay, well, my customer, okay, I'm doing customer service, but I'm getting 100 emails a day. What do I do? You know how to go out and get a VA and bring a VA in and handle their customer service, right? You know how to deal with, like, I've got like credit cards, but like, what do I need to do? Like, what, you know which credit card is going to give you 3% cash back and add a little extra bonus. You know which one, where to go for a lot of stuff. I think that's an added bonus that you get. You're not just getting someone to come in and run with your ads, but it's like in a sense, like Shark Tank, right? You're not just getting a business partner in a way, but you're getting a shark. You're getting someone that can help in all aspects of your business, or provide advice in all aspects of your business. You can help them implement like a proper P&L sheet so they can actually manage their business properly. It's those types of things that a lot of people struggle with, and it takes a while of going, I think I'm profitable, and then looking at your bank account going, why is this not a bigger number, before you realize, oh, you institute a P&L and you go, oh, I'm spending all this money on this other stuff that I wasn't accounting for. And I think
it happened to us in the past. So yeah, we have been through a lot of things, and that's why like it's even normal for us. Like we give it like we give it for granted, like having a P&L to track the sales every day, having access. We have our own team of VAs. So for example, let's say we are scaling something. We can have one of our VAs jump in and take over the emails like the next day. We also have dealt with like PayPal holds, Facebook ad account bans, page bans, profile bans, all of that. We already found solution to all these things, and it's now normal for us. But I understand when it's the first time, all these things might seem challenging. Even, for example, okay, you're scaling in Europe, but in Europe there is VAT. And then what do you do with this VAT? You want to be compliant, or you want to just keep selling without paying the VAT? And then I don't know what's going to happen. And we already have a system, so we already have a service that helps you with VAT, so we can refer you to the same system. We don't make money on these things. We just tell you, okay, we already used this system, this partner in the past that helps you pay VAT, and we implement everything on your business. So it's something that we never liked, but not never liked, but I don't know, we never felt comfortable in like selling a course, because then I don't know, it's nothing against selling courses. We took many courses before being profitable, so I would recommend anyone to follow someone and to have a coach. But yeah, just we always wanted to focus on e-commerce and scaling ads, and that's how we work. So that's our like specialty, let's say. We're not coaches in that sense, so we're not the best in explaining things, but we are the best. Like, we are pretty good at doing it, let's say.
Sure.
And
yeah,
that's why we don't ask any we don't ask any money. So just the way we work together, it's okay, let's say you have a product. For example, I think you mentioned before, like, we work with Stephanie, and we're currently working with Stephanie, one of ShineOn seller. And she texted us, I think a month ago, and she had this product that was a little bit profitable. Same situation that you mentioned before, John. So making $500, $600 sales per day, but it was still like profitable, 10, 15%, 20% for like 5-10 days. So we looked at the ad account, we looked at the creatives she was running, the whole structure, and we said, okay, we think there is potential here. So we basically plug and play our creative system, and in the time span of like 2-3 weeks, we understand whether a product is going to scale or not scale. And we don't ask for any money. So Stephanie, okay, you just ends the ad account to us. So it's me and Oscar that manage the ad accounts for Facebook and TikTok. It's not like a VA or that side. We never found a VA that could manage properly an ad account, but if you find one, send our way.
Sure.
Yeah. And we just try to like test these new creatives. So we implement the right structure in both TikTok and Facebook. It's a simple structure in the end. It's nothing like crazy for the ad account. I would keep it simple, but it's like little things that make things work. And then in the time span of like 2-3 weeks maximum, we are either scaling or I don't know, all good. We tried. We don't ask you anything. Like, okay, we pay our video editor that made all the creatives and stuff, and that's it. You can, I don't know, try finding new products.
Very low risk way of seeing if your winner is going to be able to scale, and it could even just be a possibility of like, hey, it might not be time to scale it too, right? Like, hey, it's August. This is great. We should revisit this come October when we hit Q4, right? Because now is the time where people will find winners. It might not be the time of year that you're going to scale a winner. I think that there are products that are scaling right now. Sure, there's plenty of evergreen products that are out there that's scaling, but it can be difficult during this time of year with certain products to really scale them, just because it's vacation time in the US. People are traveling. Like, it's not the biggest selling season. But it's interesting to think about. I mean, I know a lot of our sellers. I interact with a lot of our sellers. I think I've seen a lot of people catch a winner and, for lack of a better term, kill a winner because they didn't test it in the right way. And if someone else came in and took that same product, they could probably go and scale it. But because the way they went about it, it kind of died, and so they abandoned it. And I've seen I saw Kirsta take a product that had been abandoned and do $6 million in sales with a product. So, but a lot of people hit winners, but they just don't know how to get to that next point. They move on, and that's where you can come in and go, can I take you to that next level? Can I take you and go? You go, okay, you made $500 today. How would you feel if we made $10,000 today? Type of thing. I think that's where it's a skill set that people need to learn. I think there's a lot of people that could be interested in that type of service. If we do have merchants that are interested in that service, or at least having you guys take a look and see if it's something that might be an interest to you, how do they go about reaching out to you guys?
I would say either by email or on Facebook. I mean, probably if you write Oscar or Michele on the ShineOn group, you'll find a lot of our posts and you can reach out. But otherwise, can I drop like an email here on the chat? Or
I think so. If not, I will drop it in there.
Yeah, it's info@mmotglobal.com.
Where did you drop it?
Oh, on the private chat.
Private chat.
There's a live chat. Connect to comment on YouTube. No, I can't connect. Amazing story.
Comments now.
Oh, there's the private chat. I see it. Okay.
You're clearly more than just good looking. Thank you, Deborah. That's very, very kind of it. Yeah,
let's see if it'll work for me. So right here.
Oh, there you go. mmotglobal.com. Yeah, that's correct. That's our email. Yeah, that's about it.
You can reach out also on Instagram. We are always active, and as Oscar said, on Facebook. Not my Facebook actually, because we're using that for another brand. So we're reaching out to actors to shoot other contents for like a skincare brand that we are running. So not the best, but yeah.
Yeah, don't reach out to Mike's Facebook because that's a little bit, it's flooded. With
reach out to Oscar. Oscar is the guy to go to. So hopefully everybody sees this. Hopefully you get some emails coming in. I think you'll get a couple people reach out to you. I do want to just draw your attention to one comment from Deborah. She was at the mastermind in Florida, and she says, amazing story. I remember seeing you guys at the 2022 mastermind. You are clearly more than just good looking. Deborah, you're always a joy to have.
Blush, Deborah. You're making me blush.
I just remember going to that, having you guys at that mastermind, and I was with you and with Nicholas, and we were going out to the clubs, and I'm a family man, right? I've got a wife and a daughter. I don't go out, and here I am in a different time zone because I'm coming from Europe. So I was like, I can stay up all night, no big deal. And man, you guys put me in my place. Made me realize that I am not 24 anymore. I was 35 at the time, I think, and I paid for it the next day. I think the next day I had to do my talk on the stage, and all I heard was a soft, dull ringing in the back of my head the whole day. And I was like, "Ooh, they know how to party." I think I might have gotten on a mechanical bull that night. I don't remember. Maybe one of you guys got on a mechanical bull, but yeah, fun times. We need to do it again. Maybe in Barcelona.
You still delivered a very good speech, John. I remember that, so I'll give you credits for that.
Well, thank you. All about writing SOPs, systemize your work.
Yeah, which was the way we actually scaled. So thanks for that.
There you go. Again, I'm taking all the credit for all your work.
Full credit to you. No, but like jokes apart, a lot of credit to ShineOn, a lot of credit. And that's also the reason why I'm super happy to be on this call and give back. Because
hey, I mean, you guys have been selling with us for 3 years. You're continuing to have success with ShineOn. Yeah. It goes to show that you can have continued success and continue to sell, and it's not saturated. There's new product. I mean, you guys are currently scaling a product that other people haven't scaled. And a lot of people think, I had to do the one product that everybody else is selling. And you went and found a different product and you're scaling that. And I think that there's people in here that are selling other products that everyone wants to follow the crowd, but sometimes it's that other one that can stand out and can actually drive more results for people because it hasn't been seen in the market as much.
Definitely. If I can give a tip, maybe it's try to test this personalized product that only ShineOn has, and it is very, very hard to drop ship from China because it's gonna be a mess. Like if you're a drop shipper, you know, personalized products is a lot of SKUs, a lot of complexity. So it's something that only ShineOn can provide with the fast shipping. So everything is gonna be fine under that point of view with the customers and with the dispute rate, like no disputes, happy customers. So try personalized products with like winning phrases and just try different ways of this Franken phase and stuff. And something else that is also very important that I think you always mention inside the ShineOn community is that if you find something that works a little bit now, maybe makes like 1, 2 sales, 3 sales, but it's unprofitable at the moment, just make sure to save that product and try it again in October, 100%.
Yeah.
And if you find something that works now, then it's like 80% chance you're going to be able to scale that during Q4 and you're going to reach like our numbers, the numbers that we talked about before, like with no problem at all. So
no, 100%. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get something, just put it to the side, come back to it come October and see. The results might be slightly different. If you find something that looks like a winner, but it's not acting like a winner, maybe, like I said, just put it in the background and bring it back out during that period, and you might find that the stats are a bit different come October, November time. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I've really enjoyed having you on here, getting to chat. I think there's some really good stuff that was shared. I think there's a lot of people that learned a lot from this, and I think a lot of people are going to go and put some, hopefully take some action and work on some things. I really love the idea of figuring out how to get people to give you reaction videos specifically for like the jewelry products. So really good stuff. So again, thank you both for joining. It's almost lunchtime in Spain, and you don't have dinner for another 4 or 5 hours. That's my joke about how late dinner is in Spain, in case no one else has caught on. That's my least favorite part about going to Spain is you guys don't eat dinner till like 10 p.m. I'm starving. So, all right,
yeah,
my jokes don't land.
Yeah, I think there is someone in the chat that was trying to find mmotglobal.com, but we don't actually have a website for that because it's just a company that we use for our e-commerce store. We don't have we're not an agency or stuff. It's
just that's the email. The email is John put it in the chat. It's info@mmotglobal.com. But there's no
just
website.
Send them an email, and you guys will reach out and take it from there. And ShineOn has no affiliation with this. We just want to help merchants, and I think you guys can help a couple of our merchants do some cool stuff. So again, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming on Coffee with ShineOn. I think we'll probably have you guys on again, especially as we get close to Q4, and talk a bit more about what it's like to try and manage a Q4 scaling business, because I think you guys have some good experience there. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening in, I'm sure, beautiful warm weather, and we will all talk to you again soon. And to everybody else, thanks for joining Coffee with ShineOn. Check back next week. It might be Tammy, it might be Michael. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they will be here, and I'm sure they'll have something great to talk about. So thanks again for coming to Coffee with ShineOn, and we will see you all next week.